Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it's time for another leg day in my Dadbod to Daddy series. And I decided, kind of chatting with one of my clients, since I'm having him do, I decided, you know what, I've got a safety squat bar. I've been doing all high bar squatting, wearing these squat shoes. Let's just run the SSB for a bit, because again, it really tests my strength. Right, really test my strength, and it always carries over to my high bar squat. I can always high bar squat equal to or more anything I do with the SSB, and it actually has perfect carryover. So in other words, I can go months without doing any back squatting, run this bar, and then come in and sometimes PR on a high bar squat. So I'm like, let's just run with it for a bit. It's easier on my shoulders. I don't have to stretch anything out, warm anything out in my shoulders. I can just get right under the bar and start squatting. So again, makes my warm-up flow a little bit faster. So yeah, I thought let's just run it for a bit, and then come back and squat 500 on the on a normal high bar squat whenever I feel like it, and that's going to be kind of the goal. So I'm like, let me just ramp up to a good heavy single, then we'll knock out all of our rep work. Now, keeping in mind my quad volumes are relatively low, but they've been growing. They're coming back, and I'm just going to push progressive overload on those belt squats. But the other thing is, after doing this first, again, my quads are usually already well stimulated. So I just started ramping, right? We started ramping. I'm like, let's wait till it gets real heavy, right? And then we'll go ahead and quit. So right there was, I believe, 380, right? I'm going to take that one off. That's supposedly a 51-pound bar. We'll just round it down to 50. It's Titan. Who knows on their specs? So again, it started ramping. So did 380, 390. I'm like, that felt good. Let's just go to 4 plates, which is 420 after that. And then I went up another 10 at 430. So that tells me I'm in a decent place. That means I could probably do 450 on a high bar if I need to. Now, a couple of these, getting depth was a little tricky because I'm not quite used to this bar again. But the last one, I made sure that I got depth when I got up to the 430. I'm like, let's go ahead and sink it down a little bit, make sure we're below parallel. Sometimes with this bar, that's a little funky. But that being said, because I'm doing a fairly narrow stance, I've got the squat shoes, we know that we are getting that full quad movement that I want, and that's really the thing. And then I really make sure that I do a narrow stance and sink it when we go to the belt squats, which is really my main builder. So here, that one, I felt like almost a 420, up a little high, but it also didn't feel like a max. So I'm like, let's go ahead and go to the 430. Change the camera angle just a hair. Change the camera angle just a hair. Why? Well, because quite frankly, I just want to make sure I can kind of see my hip. Now, keeping in mind, again, notice the bar angles front to back. See how there's that slight upward tilt with the camera angle. So just kind of note the same thing. I've filmed this stuff from the sides and the back concurrently, and I know where I'm at. Now, do I want to get these a hair deeper? Probably a good idea, but I know that I hit depth there. But again, high bar, everything else is going to be deeper than a low bar in terms of knee position. But I do want to work on that. Because again, I was doing pretty good with the straight bar, but now that I switched to this bar, maybe just needs to be touched up a little bit. And that's why we film, that's why we observe things. I would ideally like to sink that a couple inches deeper and then build that up. And let's see if I can get that bar up close to 500. I mean, it's pretty much what I did for my last meet, right? I hit about 470 on that bar a couple weeks out. 475 or something like that, and then I came in and hit a 496 with a high bar squat with no sleeves. All right, then we went over to the belt squats. Decided to go just a hair lighter on these because I needed to change plates too, because I put a bunch of those reds on the reverse hyper to go heavier on that. So I believe I had been doing, on this 465 or something. I got 10, but again, more spacer plates, those little spacer plates add up. So, but I'm not counting them. So I just like, let's put 5 plates on. We'll go 225. Let's see if we can get 12s, which we did, and then I'll just kind of build up and progressively overload from there. They felt good. The last rep felt challenging on each one. Maybe not true failure, but I did feel like, especially on the last set, because I had to pull myself up just a little bit on the 12th rep, we were within a rep. So I'm going to see if I can just progress from here on this. Notice that we do get the deep on this. So notice the hip drops way below the knee. We are taking these to a full range of motion. Again, a lot of reps. This is my main mass builder. Just going to use the SSB for strength, and then this is my main mass builder. Now, everyone's like, aren't you training for aesthetics and bodybuilding stuff at the moment, yes, but I'm still power building. So I do a little bit of the heavy big three, and that's just going to be the nature of the game. But obviously 95% of my training is bodybuilding, right? Again, still looking leaner there. I always look less lean for some reason and less jacked on my lower body days. It's almost because it pulls blood or pump or whatever from the upper body. But notice right there, look at that angle. See that tricep, long head, is starting to grow. I feel like my triceps are starting to grow. We're continuing to look leaner, look fuller. All right, everything is really in a good spot. Everything's flowing along. I looked yesterday in yesterday's vlog for that back and bicep once it was all pumped. The best I've ever looked on camera. Quite possibly the best I've ever looked, period. Just in terms of my physique. You know, we're turning 48 coming up here in a real short time, right? What are we, about 9-10 weeks away? Turn 48. I'm going to look the best I've ever looked in my life at 48, right? The rate we're going. So keep moving forward. Now, here's the calf raise. I've got a challenge going on this, obviously, a race for me to get to the 500 for 10. So I did the 435 today. Here's what I'm going to say. This was tough. Getting 10 reps with this made me almost puke. I almost puked. But I'm going to get to that 500 for 10. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to get there. I'm going to work on it. Going to achieve it. Okay? Going to achieve it. I'm going to have some monstrous calves by then, though. My joke, everyone's, you got monstrous calves now, coach. Yeah, you know, but could they stand to be a hair bigger? If I add another inch to my arms, which is the goal, especially them triceps, I need to keep those calves flowing, right? We got to just get jacked. Get jacked everywhere. We train everything. We train calves, neck, forearms, everything. Doesn't get a lot of volume. It's all high intensity. But we do at least 3 sets of direct work for pretty much everything. Okay? Across the board. A lot of sets to failure, though. But how'd these do? Well, we got 10 and 10. The last set, I'm like, let me just dig in. And I managed to get 11 on the last set. Although I felt like the last rep really wasn't complete. Definitely reached failure because I'm like, I didn't feel like I really finished the 11th rep. But that's okay. We know that we worked hard, right? We know that we worked hard because I felt like I couldn't quite lock it. So if that didn't happen, then we definitely reached failure, which also tells me these other sets weren't within a rep of failure, right? Because I don't really lose many reps. People will notice that. A lot of times you guys will see me go to failure for a 10 rep set and then get 9 and 9 right after, right? On a true failure. I tend to be able to maintain, that performance set to set. I get a lot of clients who can't. And I feel like that's almost its own topic with neuromuscular efficiency, conditioning, things like that. Okay. So again, and then I tried to come over and flex my calf, but then I didn't realize the camera was turned up too high. So I come over, I'm like, yeah, let me just flex that calf on camera. You guys really can't even see it. And then we finished up with a set of hanging leg raises, pretty much to failure. I got 15 reps, and then my abs cramped up so much I couldn't do a second set. Realized, okay, I'm done for the day. Happy with today's workout. Everything went great. Super happy with it. So I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys and gals next time.